from the NFLPA released their organization report cards. We remember this, right? The Chiefs' ownership had an F last year.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Back-to-back world champions.
A lot of NFL players are happy with their organization as far as overall structure, the entire body of work. This specifically we're looking at is the head coach report card. And the number of A's and B's surprised me, quite frankly. Anonymous votes here, but average to good to great is the view of their head coach across the player stance. And when you know that, and you think about the turnover at head coach year after year, we just got done with 7 of them, it's surprising to know that the players are okay with it to this large degree. There are several Fs as well, Cs and Ds, but not to the number I would have expected. Brian Callahan had a B plus, I believe is what it was. A minus on this.
This is for head coach. Yeah,
no, you see, you're right. Yeah, so I mean, it's
Giants got a B plus,
A minus, and it's about just how he respects their time. Matt
Eberflus got a C.
I mean,
if there's not a D or an F on this report card, then if he doesn't get it,
owners get Fs. Let's hit the next one. Here's your ownership.
Yeah, the only D was Jets.
So
understandable.
So here you go with you've got the F, but your ownership grades improved. How do you feel if you're Pittsburgh's ownership, the most patient ownership across the league, has a D? And I guess they're looking at it from have they improved? Have they listened to us? Have they improved facilities?
I think it's just that
travel.
Do we get it? I saw where travel, the Bills were F minus.
Well, a lot of that is so the players, here's what the players hate. They hate sitting in coach. The Titans switched this up. Last year, they had a terrible grade, and it was because of the travel grade. They sit in coach. When I say this, you're able to spread out on these flights, having been on them. You can lay out in a row, but you don't have the leg room, and these giants are wanting the leg room.
They want their own pod.
They don't want the chair in front of them.
Yeah.
And ownership and the team leadership would sit in the front. And then you had staff and players in the large cabin. Callahan came in and swapped that up. So he gets a good grade, so does travel. My guess is Bills is a lot of travel and locker room.
I wonder how many players were reluctant to give their true thoughts because they feel like it was being tipped as to who said what.
Well, this only goes to the NFLPA, though, only representing you.
Yeah, but if there's any way their name is on it, I wonder if they feel like some of it's leaking or getting back.
Maybe, but
they're less honest. I probably not, because we see right here Woody Johnson got an F.
I don't think so.
So there are a lot of people who are willing to be honest.
And these teams, they can have high grades, but this is the overall grade for the team is then, you're able to give the overall report card grade instead of just the individual. And we saw Fs last year.
Yeah.
We saw A's last year within the same team. I'm saying I don't think they're afraid to give their overall view on it. But I'm sure some are. If you're on the fringe of making a roster, you probably don't care. You just want the.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, but if it's going to the PA, they're representing all players and all matters. I don't think they would do that. Hold back. And then here's treatment of family. This is normally Saturdays across the league right before a game. Who was that? Bengals.
Cincinnati got an F minus. Jacksonville got an F. Rams got a D. Browns got a D plus. Arizona got a D plus. Then Pittsburgh, Philadelphia C minus. Tampa Bay C minus. This is where everybody got really honest.
Yep.
Because half the league got a C or worse. Starting with Baltimore, goes down from C plus to F minus. Baltimore to Cincinnati. The Minnesota Vikings, very highly thought of with their players. Is what I took away from this. They had an A plus in pretty much everything.
So Cincinnati just basically says F those families, I guess?
Yeah.
The F.
What families? We're your family. That's what the Brown family said. You don't need your actual children. You are my children, is what he said. And you will all obey me.
Here's the write-up on the F minus.
And so he got an F minus.
The Bengals are one of only 3 teams that do not offer daycare during home games. So they're hearing about this from their wife or girlfriend or whatever, the players. They don't offer daycare during home games. They're one of only 10 teams
that was a thing.
that do not offer a family room during home games. The Bengals are the only team in the NFL that fails to offer one of those two benefits to the players. Players rate the post-game family area 4.6 out of 10. That's last. And the players feel like their team rarely organizes family events, which ranks them last. The family events would happen on Saturday. So there's little to no effort put forth when it comes to organizations' efforts to support families. One player describes the treatment of families as almost disrespectful.
Yeah, I would say Jacksonville and Cincinnati both feel that way. They got the two Fs.
Meanwhile, the locker room, 98% of the players in Cincinnati feel like they have enough room in their individual lockers. That's number one in the league, Chad. Number one.
It's really, I find these amusing and like looking through them.
I do too.
We're really talking some first world problems here.
Oh, I know. But
how dare you not grant us daycare during our games?
But this is
during the one time a week where we're playing a game, we need daycare during those 4 hours.
I just like knowing this. Whenever the radio ranking, the consensus grades would come out from Barrett Media for time slots.
Yeah.
We
had a great time with Dan Dockich with these rankings.
Dan Dockich, number one and number two. We would always follow him.
He would both celebrate being number one, and then he would also criticize Barrett and the process for how he got to number one, not understanding how he had the power to process every show in the country.
We anticipated it, though.
Yeah.
Knowing that the owners anticipate this.
Yeah.
And I just like knowing that they're pouring through it. And then we find out if they listen to it following the next year.
I'd love to catch wind of just a side meeting that the Jets or Cincinnati or Jacksonville has where the owner comes in. He's like, so, in front of me, I have the NFLPA report cards. Let's go through these line item by line item.
Yep.
First, family room. You're upset we don't have one. Well, guess what? Family Saturdays are over from here on out.
No, they hold a family Saturday to give this speach.
Yeah.
And that's the one they hold.
You know what I'll do? I'll cut all of you, and then you can go have as much family time as you want.
Better enjoy
this. You guys can go enjoy your families 24/7. How about that? How about that, Trevor? I'll stop paying you those multi-millions of dollars to not win games, and then we'll see how much time you have with your precious little family. That's going to be Shah Khan when he comes back from London.
Maybe Shah Khan is
after he sets up the team's move,
listening to the players by hiring leadership that's basically their age.
Yeah. You thought the family score was bad. Now wait until they have to go across the Atlantic to go watch you play. When we move to London, it's gonna be real tough.
So
you know what the citizenship process is like in London? Hell of a lot harder than become an American citizen. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, you guys don't know how to work a microwave.
They don't offer the $5 million buy-in.
We're not going to help you get
the way America does.
passport.
You guys could all afford that. The ones we're paying top dollar to go live in England.
Yeah, good luck getting your passport. Yeah. Join us there if you want to.
Yeah. Family time.
Paul, Chad, you remember Paul Harvey?
Yep.
The rest of the story.
Oh yeah.
It's a version of this. We'll stay in Jacksonville. They've hired youngest in the league. There's Jesse Gemstone. I keep thinking of Jesse Gemstone from the Righteous Gemstones. They have their Righteous Gemstone. His name is James Gladstone in Jacksonville. He gives off just a little bit of that Sean McVay-like personality. That's because he comes from the Los Angeles Rams. Just a little bit of it, though. But that's all it takes. If you touch the cloaks of Sean McVay and Les Snead, billionaires like Shad Khan hire you as a 34-year-old general manager in the National Football League. Same goes for his head coach, Liam Cohen. He spent 4 seasons with McVay in Los Angeles. Gladstone, he was there for 9 years. He's 34. Cohen is 39. And when he speaks, it's rehearsed, it's robotic, it feels scripted. He sounds like he's on the backside of puberty, quite frankly. And if you told me, Chad, that this guy that you're about to see is on the cast of Selling Sunset, I'd believe you. If you told me that he's a mentalist who just won America's Got Talent, I would believe you. He fits that mold. And I'm not crushing him in this. There's a rest to the story. But he'd be great as a public speaker on tour with financial experts. He has the smartest guy in the room who has memorized the thesaurus as well as ChatGPT could do. He's got that voice to him. Listening to him can leave you fascinated and also irritated, and at the same time, you're going to be watching more. He's likable, but only because he doesn't give off you. It doesn't give us that Duval douchebag first impression that Liam Cohen did in Jacksonville. But you tell me what all of these words that he's about to say have to do with football. I give you NFL General Manager A.I. Gladstone.
With that, it's time to meet the new GM of the Jacksonville Jaguars, James Gladstone.
So they're going to dap him up. Watch this. He's going to go down the. I mean, this guy. Look. How old does this guy look to
It
you?
looks like I'm watching the Beast games again and his crew.
Pretty much.
I think about Mr. Beast and his buddies.
Okay, so here we go. It's the mannerisms and just his the way he comes. He's very nervous here. I think he's on the brink of crying.
You know, it really is an honor
Look at
to
this guy.
be with you all today as the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Looks like the GM's
You
son.
know,
He's 34.
He's 34.
Man,
I do have to start first and foremost
guy's aged well.
No.
by
It's-
thanking
it's his-
Shad, Tony, and the entire Khan family
Has he lived his
for
entire life in an
believing in
incubator?
me, for entrusting me with such an incredible opportunity. You know, their passion for this city, this franchise, it's contagious. And I look forward to building something special with them.
Okay, so that's his intro. I said, you tell me what it has to do with football. That guy, though, he actually, I mean, he's with McVay for 9 years. I mean, he's 34. He's going on 25. But the Jaguars bought into the idea that he pitched to them over a 4-hour interview where he convinced Shad and Tony Khan that the team would benefit from leveraging his inexperience against modern mechanisms and modes of operation. You're going to hear that a lot. Imagine what this interview was like. Tony Khan, Shad's son, Liam Cohen, Shad Khan, James Gladstone. This general manager interview featured more word porn than AI could actually spit out to you. Gladstone, well, he saved all that word porn on this hard drive.
Do you look at what you bring to the table as cutting edge or outside the box? And what does that look like in today's NFL or from a GM spot?
Yeah, that's a fair question. I think that, I have a fresh perspective, I'd say. A deep understanding of really the modern tools and mechanisms that are revolutionizing the sport. And so, that'll certainly be something that we leverage here. While at the same time, I mean, we're walking into the combine this afternoon, right? And so the current mode of operation is in rhythm. The cadence is in place. So my intent here through this initial spring is to really calibrate my own mode of operation to the current mode of operation, insert some specific efficiencies that'll help me better understand our group's insights and perspectives, and then assess at the end of this spring what types of things we can roll out into the future. But we'll certainly, put the pedal to the metal on a lot of advanced sort of modes of operation.
The collaboration.
This guy's read a lot of mission statements.
Yes. He memorized it. He didn't look down. Did not look down. Liam Cohen worked with Gladstone in Los Angeles with the Rams, and they actually speak the same language. Their computer processors are converting numbers into players at the same speed, so to speak, and they move in the same ways. The GM will explain that in a second. Jags owner Tony Khan is 42. Liam Cohen is 39. James Gladstone, 34. Tony Baselli was named Vice President of Football Ops. Props to Baselli. He's been a part of the show in the past. He's the elder statesman at 52. He's the oldest. The other three, they're just the young guys who, look like the young crew that just moved into the gated community to join the golf club with their dad's money. I mean, they've got it all figured out, successful, and I think most, including me, expect them to fall flat on their face, meaning the Jags would continue to be the bottom feeders of the NFL. But if they find success, they are going to be strutting cock of the walk like Vince McMahon's entrance. I'll look stupid. I'll have to move, to the. I'm already in steerage. I would move to the very back of the plane as they, would pass me, walking up to first class. But they've only passed one class so far, and that's the class of McVay, who was hired in 2017 at the age of 30. The youngest head coach in the NFL since 1938. And he's only 39 right now today. He's the same age as Liam Cohen. But in these past 9 years, from the time Gladstone was hired by Les Snead to today. Think about the NFL's youth revolution here. McVay was hired in 2017. Since then, 21 head coaches have been younger than 40 years old when they were hired. Only 11 were under 40 in the previous 20 NFL seasons. This is why James Gladstone speaks with confidence.
Yeah, I think I view it as a key strength because really, I have a fresh perspective, and I think that's also the case for both Liam and Tony. And through my own experiences, I feel like I have a deep understanding of really the tools and modern mechanisms that are revolutionizing the sport. And so I don't ever view the number of years that I've had on planet Earth as a limitation, but just my preferred way of moving is one that I think can bring a dynamic asset and an edge over the competition.
Okay, preferred way of moving. Here's the rest of the story. Old Gladstone there, he's the notes on him are important to mention because he's not using big words to cover up a lack of backbone in football intelligence. Gladstone is the director of scouting in Los Angeles, the guy known for the unique ability to combine analytics with scouting staff, and that's difficult to do. But here's his the background that is so impressive. He's the son of a high school football head coach who was also a second-generation teacher. And James wanted nothing more growing up than to become his dad. He wanted to coach high school football, and he wanted to be a high school athletic director. He played football at Westminster College. He's a two-time team captain there, and he returned home after getting his degree in education. And he was brought on to coach with his dad, who came out of retirement to get back into coaching. And the day that he returned, Les Snead and his son Logan Snead showed up at the high school they were signing up to play for in St. Louis. That was 10 years ago. And now James Gladstone is one of 32 general managers in the National Football League. That's remarkable. That dude.
Great stuff, Hutton. And one other Gladstone I'd like to throw an honorable mention, Joey Gladstone.
Joey.
From Full House, Dave Coulier. But I don't speak of Canadians currently, so I'm not going to talk about Coulier. Also noted Canadian.